Welcome to an all-new live, The Ann Lynn Show. On today's show, we're getting back to basics with Shannon from Homesteading in the Heartland. Shannon's going to teach us all about growing gardens, canning, freezing, dehydrating, and so much more. You're going to want to get your notebook ready to take lots of notes. And now, here are Ann and Lynn. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, everybody. Coffee clink. Boop. When we bring Shannon in, we're going to do coffee clink with Shannon, too. Good morning. Got your coffee?
I sure do. It's getting a little bit warm, but that's okay.
Cold, you mean? Cold?
No, not yet. No, yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to see who's here today.
Yes, let's give some shout outs.
Good. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, I want to give a shout out to Barefoot Lass. She's in the house. The girly A is here, and Mama C is here. We say good morning, good morning, good morning.
Come on, granny kisses. And you know what, Lynn? I got to leave you for just a split second.
Oh, well, okay then. Well, that's okay. Hey, how's everyone doing this morning? Is it nice and bright and sunny where you're at? Where I'm at, it's going to be 72 out today, and I am so looking forward to it. Cameraman and I bought a state pass to our state, and so we are going to get out there maybe today and do some walking in the sunshine. And yes, wow. That's right, because after this, it's going to turn into some rain for about 5 days, and we don't need rain. I'm so sorry, but hey, sunny in Pennsylvania. Yay. Oh, yep. I'm going to my state park. The girly A. I'm going to my state park. Yes. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of shopping in the next city over. And I got thinking, it's going to be windy. So I'm just going to, what do you think, Ann? I'm going to wrap my hair up maybe, like in a scarf.
Oh, like a babushka?
I'm going to wear a babushka today.
Well, you could have a babushka.
Guess what? It's foggy and 34 in Tacoma, Washington. Mama C, can I tell you something? I was married in Tacoma at Fort Lewis, North Fort Lewis, and I had my first son in what was then Madigan Army Hospital. And so Tacoma has a lot of fond memories. Met some great friends in Tacoma, Washington. That's right, my babushka. I have to have my babushka on.
Yes, a babushka. Well, it's about 40 degrees here right now, but it's going to be around 62 this afternoon, and kind of partly sunny. It's kind of overcast. I don't know. It's partly sunny.
Yeah.
But so we're going to have a day or two of 60s, and then we're going to go back to 40s kind of. We're kind of slowly, I did shovel some snow in front of one of the garages yesterday to kind of get that off, because we had snow all the way about 2 feet up on our side of our garage, just the way I guess it drifted. And so anyhow, I am in my dining room today. I am not in the attic. Usually I'm up in my attic. But
we let you out today, huh?
They let me out, but I don't want to be out, because when we finish here today, I have to go change my clothes and paint. And I don't know if you caught our show last week. So we had a water leak, and it was in my bathroom, which is directly over the kitchen. And to make a long story short, everything's well. And we got yesterday, the last few days I've had drywaller in here putting up the drywall and all that good stuff, and we got kilns on it now. So they came from kind of a far distance, and they would have had to come back like 2-3 days in a row for the finish paint. So I said,
Oh, I wondered. Okay.
yeah. So I said, you know what? There's no reason to do that. So
Hey.
they kind of told me what to do, and I have the paint, and I'm going to do the finish. So I'm going to start today because I want to get out of living in construction kind of a zone. You know,
I don't blame you.
Oh, it's terrible. I'm having flashbacks.
Hey.
Yes.
Mama,
Mama,
see,
she likes to paint.
she likes paint, and she'll come and help you. And I want to shout out to Helen. Helen's in the house.
Good morning, Helen. Well,
Helen Dixon's in the house. Yay.
Yeah. The thing is, it's not a very big place that,
No.
it's only maybe like 2 feet by 3 feet, maybe. It's not very big. And it's so, I don't know how that's what, but here's what really bummed me out last night. So
you had something last night?
Yes. So I was putting things away because the last few nights Dave's been picking up dinner and lunch, because we can't get to the refrigerator and stuff, and everything is taped up with plastic on it. And so we have this great big high step stool, and I picked it up and I was going to move it over here in the dining room. And when I put it down, one of the legs caught the wall, and I took a big divot in this dining room wall.
Oh, and my gosh.
All these colors in here, they painted this house really nice.
Yeah.
But trying to match colors. So what we ended up doing, here's what I did. Here's Dave goes. So we took a outlet plate off to see if I could scrape some of the color off and take that up to Lowe's. It was too little. So I said, okay, and they said, you got to be about the size of a dime to be able to match your color, right? So I came back and we actually took a hunk out of the wall about that big by the outlet. And I took that, we're like 5 minutes from Lowe's. So I went directly back to Lowe's and they were able to match it. So,
good.
So I had brought that chip of the wall back home. This is another place, right? And we put it back in place and I puttied it up and let it dry for a while. And so anyhow, perfect color on one side of the wall. The whole dining room is supposedly the same color. And I thought, well, great. I'll touch up a few places around the corner.
Oh, no.
So I did. It doesn't match. But if you look at it, it matches. But it doesn't match, if it makes sense. So I'm not sure. I'm probably going to be mixing some green paint later.
Oh, no.
I know. So
well, I wanted to say Tony's come in. Tony has come in, our cameraman.
Oh, hello, Tony.
Hello. Yeah, he's come in today.
Hello. Well, today.
Well, are we ready? They're ready.
We're ready. I'm ready.
We're ready. I'm ready.
Got your coffee? Shannon, get your coffee up. I'm going to bring you in. Today, we are welcoming Shannon of Homesteading in the Heartland. And if you have not subscribed to her, I'm watching her total. She's very close to getting 1,000 subscribers, and then she can go live on her cell phone, and we want that for her.
We sure do.
Yes.
We sure do.
So please, please, please spread the word. Tell everybody you know. Subscribe to Homesteading in the Heartland. And now, Shannon, are you ready? Get your coffee, Lynn. We got to clink in. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. Good morning.
Clink, she's got a beautiful cup.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful cup. Good morning. So, how are you today?
I'm good.
What's the weather like you're in North Dakota?
North Dakota. Yes, I'm a few hours from the Canadian border where I am.
Wow.
So we're zone 3, sometimes 4, depends on the year. We'll get into maybe 4, but typically zone 3. That's part of the reason why we started a channel and we moved out here. We did stuff for a year before, and then the next year we decided to do a channel. So last year we started filming last year, but there wasn't a lot of homesteading channels discussing
Sure.
our 100-day climb. You know, we only have 100 days to grow anything. We have this such a short growing season. You know, most of the homesteading channels are, you know, zone 5, 6, 7, 8, B,
Yes.
you know, because they can grow all the time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And there is a couple, like Simple Living Alaska, that's zone 3. There's a new one I found yesterday because they came over and subbed to my channel. They're in Canada. Holla Abbey Homestead. Holla Abbey, HOLLABBEY. They came and subbed, and because I got a shout out on another channel called Our Cabin in the Woods. So shout out to them, and then shout out to Marf from Marf
Yes,
Google News,
yes, absolutely.
because that's how we met, was Marf Google News. And so hi Marf, hi Dex. So Marfia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started to do a channel and share our story, and here I am. I don't know.
Wow. That's wonderful.
Left the nursing career to get back to basics and be more self-sustainable and get my family healthy. Yeah.
That's right. I was going to ask you, has homesteading helped your family? How has it helped? And one of the ways I know that you said is your health. It's helped to grounding, right, Shannon?
Grounding helps. Yes. Grounding. Yeah. For winter, it's tough, you know, because you can't get outside with how cold it can be here. So my husband jokes around that he's going to build me a teepee because I have some Native American in me. So he's like, my squad's going to get a teepee. But he hasn't done that yet. So.
Well, oh my goodness. Well, we have some Native American. We always knew we did, but now it's starting to show up in our mother's DNA. So we always knew we had some.
Yeah, my mom. It's on my mom's side. Yeah,
very
my mom's
little. My
mom's from Montana, yeah. So she has. That's where. And then my dad's 100% Polish. So yeah, both ski last names. So I have my great grandpa came over, or I should say my great great grandpa came over from Warsaw during World War II, and so I had some family die in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
But because we're Polish Jews, however, but everything in the climate we're going on in the world, the past 8 years, I've been really studying the Bible and 4 or 5 different Bibles and all kinds of different scripture and going through and trying to decipher everything. And yeah.
Well, that's what Ann does. You know, Ann brings God's promises for you every day. And Ann, I appreciate that you may read it in King James, and then you might read it from the easy read by version, or you might read it from NIV, or it just helps to clear. Usually you always read the King James or the New King James, and then I like how you bring it out so we can understand it. And today the word that you had, Ann, was about peace. It was peace of God. And I tell you, I needed to hear that right when you brought that. So I thank you. And may I give a shout out to Airy_55 and Snafu Snaps too is in the house. We love our snaps, don't we?
And we do.
And Mama C, just sub to you, Shannon.
Oh, yay! Yeah. So sub, please
Barefoot sub last night.
Yep.
Yay! Yeah, everybody.
So just want you to know.
Yes, to Homestead in the Heartland. Homesteading in the Heartland. Here we go.
Well, yeah, we're called, because of the Midwest, we're called we're called the Heartland of in North Dakota, the Heartland.
Yeah.
Red River Valley belt. We're along the Red River, on both Minnesota and North Dakota side. So I'm along the border. So I grew up in Minnesota, right over the river, and then you drive over the river, and then you're in North Dakota.
I've been through.
How far are you from Fargo?
About a half hour.
I've been through Fargo. Have you been through Fargo, Ann?
No.
Oh, okay. I've been through Fargo on a Friday night. There was a lot of traffic, as I best remember, even way back in the day.
How big is Fargo?
Well, this is the thing, is like you have the Fargo Moorhead metro area. So I grew up on the other side of the river in Moorhead. So you have the Fargo Moorhead metro area, 250,000 roughly.
Wow.
But you're talking, so you have Moorhead, and then you have West Fargo, South Fargo, North Fargo.
Wow.
And then there's the surrounding areas. We're rural, we're north. So we're basically in between Grand Forks and Fargo.
Wow. So what is your growing season there? How, now, and another question, do you have to have a more hardy seed or a more hardy plant?
Yeah, let's get into,
what's your growing season and what do you grow?
Yeah, let's talk about seeds and seed management. And
so
seeds to you.
A good reference for growing for anybody is this. It's called the Clyde's Garden Planner. I'll hold that up. You can get it for like $5 on Amazon.
CLY. Oh, let me write it in here. CLYDES, right? Garden Planner. Yeah. Okay, you can buy it on Amazon
for like $5. So on this side it has fall, and on this side has spring, and then you pick your last spring frost or your first fall frost, depending on when you're gonna plant, and you put it in and you slide it along, and it'll tell you there's onion sets, peas, spinach, potatoes, beets, tomato, peppers, and it'll tell you when to plant it, and the last plant, and then when to harvest. This has been really kind of cool. And we always have a range, a week or two of last frost, and the weather. Yesterday it was 71 here.
Oh my.
And then today now it's 25, 30 degrees again. So
is that typical?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. The powers that be like to play with the weather. So
yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that God's letting it happen. So we'll see. Like last year I had to reseed 110 beans. 110 bean plants, and I just inhaled something. And then like 90 peas and excuse me. Coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
A sip of coffee.
Because we had some straight line winds. We had like 50 to 70 mile an hour gust straight line winds. And we were putting up plywood on the T-posts along the cattle panels to try to block the wind. Because we have the shelter belt, the northwest shelter belt. But we were getting unusually strong south winds. Oh, I'm going to cough.
Go ahead.
We'll do that because I want to give a shout out to Sweet Jenna. Sweet Jenna is here.
Sorry about that, you guys.
That's
I don't have the Rona.
Yes. Here, I'll take you down here. Let her cough a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, we want to say happy birthday to Sweet Jenna. Her birthday was on the 3rd.
To her. I think we should sing.
Okay, you started, Ann.
All right. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sweet Jenna.
Happy
birthday to you. And many more. Yes.
Oh, so sweet Jenna. Happy birthday.
And did you see the snafu's in the house, right? Did you want to give a shout out?
Are you good, Shannon?
Okay. Hi, I'm good. Hi, snafu.
We want to give her a chance to get her.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we had a couple really warm days, and then it gets cold again, and then I don't know if it's just the allergies or what, but so starting yesterday, as the change of seasons from one to the next, like the flu season, you do the same thing. Readjust. Yes. That's where I'm at.
To readjust. So let's get back to the seeds that you buy. You buy organic or
Well,
Or heirloom.
heirloom.
Yeah.
Heirloom.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, I have some spinach that's hybrid, but most of the stuff I do grow has been heirloom. Last year, I had about 15 of my tomato plants snap and break because of the winds. So went to the store to replace them. And so I ended up getting some hybrids at the store. Tried to find some heirloom, got a couple beefsteak, which are heirloom, but most of them were, what do you do?
Right.
I couldn't, I have to start peppers and tomatoes indoors. They say the first week of April, which is what I was doing. And then last year I started them April 1st, and they were like delayed because the sun, where I was growing them in the laundry room in the big window, the sun used to come in at a certain angle, and it doesn't do that anymore. So if you guys haven't not noticed, the sun is at a different angle and is like 30 degrees. My husband is a hunter, and he's like, this is not normal, because he pays attention to the weather with hunting and set, and he's like, this isn't normal. The sun is not rising and setting where it typically should. And then it's like at a tilt. And if you see the waxing and waning of the moon, it's tilted. So the sun wasn't coming in right. So my plants didn't grow and get, so this year I'm just going to start them like in a week or two. I'm going to start them earlier just to help.
Yes.
And so do you keep your seeds? Do you like harvest your seeds?
Yes.
Use them for the next year?
Yeah. Some of them. And a good book as a reference is this one.
Okay. Let me
Okay.
Okay, what's the name of it?
Seed to Seed. Seed to Seed. You can get this on Amazon. Or, I think Barnes and Noble had it too. It's by Susan Ashworth. It says Seed Saving and Growing Techniques for Vegetable Gardeners. So I'm going to use
What's her last name? Ashworth? Okay.
Worth. W-O-R-T-H.
I got it. If somebody wants to look that up, Seed to Seed by Susan Ashworth. Okay.
So, this is really good reference. I knew how to save a lot of seeds anyways, but there's certain things like carrots, lettuce. I had no idea. You have to let them go to seed and harvest and make sure you get them right at the right time. And last year I missed it. So I fortunately found more seeds. But so
are you getting ready to plant now then? When will you plant in the ground? When will you plant in the ground?
Not until like the first week of June.
Oh, you got first week of June.
Yeah. So I'll show. I have everything written down on my calendar here. The first, because I'm growing so many different things. It's and like you start, and I can start in May. In May, I can start cold hardy stuff like broccoli, cabbage, all the brassicas, lettuces, salads, cucumbers, pumpkin. Yeah. So, not pumpkin, excuse me. But I can start broccoli, lettuce, carrots, and Swiss chard and stuff. And then I can start cucumber seeds indoors, but I just direct sow them, and a few weeks later, it's easier for me because cucumbers are so prone to blight or fungus. So it's better to start them from seed in the ground if you can. So I just end up planting so many seeds and so many rows, and they keep growing, It's not like one and done, like broccoli, one and done,
Okay.
So, and then tomatoes and peppers, I don't put in the ground until June 14th.
Oh.
So I have to pick a tomato that I either have to start them really early, or I have to pick a tomato that is more cold hardy, or I have to pick a tomato that it doesn't take as long to reach maturity.
Wow.
I see.
Wow.
And then there's the indeterminate versus the determinate, right? Indeterminate tomatoes only grow a certain height and then they stop growing and producing, and indeterminate, they keep growing. And so last year I had some indeterminates that were just like, and like I had them hanging over the cattle panels, because they just keep going and going and going. So this year I'm going to try to separate things out, like carrots and last year I lost a whole row. I planted almost 125 tomato and pepper plants. So
wow.
So I had one whole row I pretty much lost to cabbage worms. So I'm glad I planted so many of them. Cabbage worms are, the small little white butterflies that fly around, and then they lay eggs, and then they get the green worms, and then they eat everything. And I do everything organic, so to get rid of them. And they also are huge. They love broccoli and cauliflower. I had to burn 24 broccoli last year. I had to just put them burn them because they were so infested with cabbage worms this year. But last year was like pest from I've never seen before. Pests like locusts. We had grasshoppers that I've never seen before. Like, we're talking the really big brown ones that don't usually have green grasshoppers. We're talking the big brown ones that you usually don't see.
Wow.
We had those. And then we went out, you could take a butterfly net and just go over by the corn. And then we have the wheat field from the farmers. You just put the net out, and in 30 seconds, that net was full.
Oh my goodness.
That was so this year, to combat that, my husband decided he wants to add a third 2,000 square foot garden because he wants to kill me.
Wow.
So we are going to have the pumpkins and squash and everything separate, and then that whole second garden will be all corn to combat, because last year we only had enough corn for fresh eating, and then some for the chickens we saved, but there wasn't enough because the grasshoppers got them so bad. I planted 378 corn, and I had just enough for fresh eating and to share with some family members, I'm like, so we're gonna put that, you got to just do what you got to do, right?
Sure. Yes.
We're getting to that point where we need it all locally. We have to come together as communities, and you grow this, I grow that, and you think you typically grow this much per member in the family, right? You need to 5 times that, because the pests are so much worse, and you have to, and if you're not wanting to spray it with, icky stuff, you have to, it's a lot more maintenance, but you have to do what you have to do. So the organic method, the organic stuff that I do is neem oil. Neem oil, you mix it, get the concentrate, put it in one of the big sprayers, pump it and spray underneath the leaves, on top of the leaves. Neem oil is good for all soft-bodied insects. So like
I've never heard of that. Can you spell that?
Neem oil, NEEM. So that's an organic way. It's like an essential oil.
Oh, okay.
It has some essential oils in it. Neem oil, NEEM.
Do you dilute it, or?
Yeah. You just follow the directions. They're all, different brands vary on, is it tablespoon or 2 tablespoons per gallon? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you spray it on top of the leaves, underneath the leaves, and it kills the green hornworms, the cabbage worms, and all soft-bodied insects. Wow. But they don't harm the beneficial insects, right? And then the food grade diatomaceous earth is what I use for all the hard-bodied insects. So the flea beetles love broccoli. That so I had flea beetles and cabbage worms just destroy all my broccoli. I had no broccoli to harvest last year.
Oh.
So this year, what we're going to do is we're going to get some netting. So
Mm-hmm.
the netting, so then the white butterflies can't land and lay on and lay and have the hornworms. And then what I'm going to still have to do, nothing I can do about the ground. I'm going to have to just sprinkle the diatomaceous earth along, around make sure you don't get it directly on the plant, but kind of sprinkle it on the dirt for the brassicas. There's times that I put it directly on the plant. If I see, you do this preventatively. First, you just put it on the dirt. If you start seeing them on the leaves and on the foliage, throw it on the leaves, and it's not going to hurt you, because diatomaceous earth, if you're using food grade diatomaceous earth, is safe for us to consume.
Okay.
So there's silica in diatomaceous earth that's actually great for detoxing the human body, by the way. So detoxing
the neem oil.
Yeah.
That won't hurt us either.
No.
Oh.
But don't apply the neem oil until after sunset. Don't apply it during the day while the sun's out, because it'll scorch the plants.
Oh. Okay. Yes, that's what.
Sunset.
Right.
Yeah. And
the
then
girlie said that.
And then if it's going to rain, don't even bother. Wait until after it's done raining, because it'll wash it off and you'll have to spray it again anyways. So, I don't know what else there's so much stuff.
Well, I've got some questions.
I want to know how big her garden is.
Yeah.
Our main garden in the back of the house is 2,000 square feet. And then the garden out by the barn is almost 2,000 square feet. It's 875 square feet, 865 square feet or something, whatever it was. I don't remember. Yeah.
And you do this all by yourself? I know you have help with your family.
My daughter, me, my husband. My husband does takes the tractor out and tills it, or takes the rototiller and tills it, or whatever. I'm going to try to do some new things this year with potatoes, because my potatoes didn't do. This is the thing. It's trial and error. Like, I grew up with my grandma's gardening and canning, so I had the background, but they, didn't grow up. They didn't do things to the scale that I'm doing right now, right? My grandma just had raspberry bushes at the lake, so she would make raspberry jam every year, and I'd help her do, I learned how to do that and whatnot. And that I have not done since with my grandma. I don't know how many years ago. So this year I'm going to do jam and jellies for the first time by myself. Oh. But I'm going to have to go to the farmer's market to get stuff, because our bushes aren't producing yet. So last year we planted 2 blueberry, 2 Juneberry, 2 Romeo cherry, and 5 apple trees.
Wow.
So, and this year, my husband, we tried to start black goji berry and elderberry and Saskatoon elderberry, and they didn't turn out. We had some of the black goji berry survive, and they're in dormancy outside right now in the pods. But we'll have to, But so he ordered this year 25 elderberry, like a year-old elderberry bushes. We're going to line the side. So elderberry jam, elderberry wine, elderberry syrup to help. It's all about, fighting natural healing.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. The Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. Okay. We have some questions, Lynn.
Oh, yes, we do. Okay, well, let me go back to the first one was, DeGurley said that she ordered her seeds from Baker Creek. Where do you order yours?
Baker Creek as well.
Okay.
I have actually right here, I have the Baker Creek catalogs. So this was this year's. The one I got this year.
Okay.
Baker Creek.
And then this was last year's. This was the one you get free in the mail. That's just a small version. And this is the big monster.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
That's a lot of seeds.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then
so Baker Creek, my Patriot Supply, trying to think. I did a video on it.
Yes.
I'm just
yes.
blanking right now.
I should have wrote it down. I should have wrote where you said in your video the different places. So
yeah, there was self-sustainable seed company, My Patriot Supply, Baker's Creek. There is, I'm forgetting something and I can't remember. Well, I'll pick up stuff at like Burpee or whatever, try to get an heirloom, or organic and heirloom. Sometimes I don't get organic if they don't have what I want, but most of the time I do. So, but as long as it's heirloom, you can get heirloom and not being organic. But once I grow it a couple times, and then harvest the seeds, it'll be organic. And this is the thing too, is like there is a difference between GMOs and hybrids. There are there's natural hybrids out there due to cross pollination. So you can have new heirlooms that are created, and like it becomes like an F1 strain, F2 strain, but it's still considered an heirloom. It's just because it's natural cross pollination. And if you don't want cross pollination, you have to plant your plants like 50 to 100 feet apart, depending on what plant, because of the bees will just,
Yes.
So then
do their thing.
You harvest those seeds, and say you have all the tomato plants right next to each other, you harvest those seeds gradually over 5-10 years, you're going to have a different tomato.
Right.
Than the heirloom, if you're not separating things out and making sure there's no cross pollination. So you can have a natural hybrid versus the GMO genetically modified organism, which, by the way, my daughter saw the doctor yesterday, the OB doctor. She was talking about how GMOs are affecting people's hormones so bad. And she was just so mad about it. And I was like, part of the reason why I'm doing this, right?
Right. Because
that's right. Well, I have a couple more questions.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
Okay. Cameraman wanted to know, do you have your greenhouses up yet? Do you have greenhouses?
No, we're getting one this year.
That's what I thought. We
wanted to get one last year, and that didn't happen. Stuff happened. Financially, I couldn't afford it. And I could apply for like be part of the FSA and get an FSA loan and get that. But there is, my husband and I are hesitant now because there was by February 22nd, you could have like filed a thing against the FDA to try to stop what they were going to pass with these rules and regulations that's going to kill small farms and businesses. So if I were to do that, I would have to jump through hoops and like become certified organic if I want to be organic, there's all these things. And it's like, now they want to GP. No, this is not kidding. No, I'm not kidding you. And the new FDA things, they were who did a good job? Ice Age Farmer did a good job discussing this. Ice Age Farmer was a good one that had discussed this, and he has a link in one of his videos from a few weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. Because by February 22nd, you were supposed to file, be part of. I'm clearing stuff off my screen. Anyways, they were going to change more restrictions to be able to grow food for small businesses and farms, to where you have to know the exact GPS location of where that piece of lettuce was harvested and exactly at what time, and put it in an Excel spreadsheet. And you have to provide the government with that information to be able to sell your produce. And now I'm like, it's so inefficient. It's not possible to say, and then it's even in the document that they were going to put nanotech to be able to track that lettuce. We're talking nanotechnology in the lettuce and be able to track it,
right?
Where it's going to go. And then if there was he described talking about if you were selling fish and you cut the fish into pieces, each piece of fish has to have this nano thing to be able to. I'm like, it's oversight, and it's too much control, and it's about eliminating the small. So it's going to get to the point now with the times in which we are living. You're going to have to develop small communities and say, I'm going to grow this year in abundance, and you're going to grow that this year in abundance, and we're going to trade and barter and bypass
Yes,
Yeah.
and so that's
Yes.
kind of the idea of when being in a co-op. I know that there's a lot of communities have
Yeah.
like a co-op, and they join it, and that's exactly what you're talking about. We'll do this, you do that, and they help each other within their co-op.
Yeah,
But
we had a prairie co-op called Prairie Co-op in Fargo, and it went out of business.
oh, that's a shame.
Oh,
And there was another farm north of us that had multiple greenhouses and was doing CSAs, and they stopped doing it because
Oh,
of the oversight and what was going on and stuff, and financially couldn't do it. So like last year I sold some CSA boxes to just family and friends, and but it wasn't enough. Like we talked to the tax guy, and he's like, yeah, if it's under 5,000, it was only a few $100, right? So he's like,
right.
yeah, no,
this year
yeah.
we're going to up our game, but because we're processing chickens, and you can process under 1,000 chickens and sell them without having any oversight by the USDA if it's under 1,000 chickens. So we actually on Friday ordered 30 meat chickens, Cornish cross, and 10 more egg layers. So that they'll be here in a couple of weeks. So that's exciting.
Oh,
Yes.
Barefoot Lass had a question a little bit ago about when do you plant potatoes?
Well, potatoes are a little more cold hardy, so they can handle a little bit of frost. So there would be the same as like brassicas, I try this year. We're going to do something different. We're going to try the Ruth Stout method, because when we grew potatoes before, I didn't want to be digging in the ground, so we tried putting them in big totes and layering them, and then adding, and it looked like we were going to have a good harvest looking at the foliage on top, but it ended up being really small potatoes. So
okay.
you can do it. I just didn't have as good of success. I don't know
When
if it needed more aeration or not. What was that?
When do you do that? About what time of the year?
You can start potatoes probably a week after broccoli. So broccoli is like the May 3rd is broccoli, lettuce, and May 10th is carrots and Swiss chard. So you can do potatoes. I don't have potatoes written down on here because we just start them as soon as we're able to get them from the runnings or wherever we go to get seed potatoes. We do not. I would just save some potatoes from last year and then replant them, but we do not have a root cellar here. So we have, being along the Red River, we have a very high water table. So having a root cellar, I would love a root cellar. I would love like a geothermal greenhouse, so I could grow citrus, right? But geothermal greenhouses they're partially underground, and then they have tubes and fan to So, but
wow,
can't do that.
Well, I have a question. I saw in you have is it a Berkey?
A Berkey water filter, correct.
How do you like that? Because cameraman and I are debating about one of those. Even with the city water running we would run it through there, correct?
Yeah, we run our rural water in there.
Yes.
Yes, I love it.
Does it remove fluoride? Would it remove our fluoride?
You have to make sure you add the fluoride filters. They have the regular black filters.
Okay, I'm going to write that down. Okay.
So they have the black filters that have that will take out other contaminants like arsenic and heavy metals and stuff like that. And then the white filters go on the bottom, and that takes out the fluoride.
Okay. And
fluoride is a known neurotoxin. Right. And applying it to your teeth once in a while is good for the teeth, but ingesting it is not beneficial to the teeth. It doesn't do anything, so you're just causing issues, and that's part of the spiritual war. We're under attack, right?
Now I've got to ask you a question. How long? Of course, you have a family of 5. How long do the filters last for you as a family of 5? And are they expensive?
We haven't had to replace the filters yet. To replace the filters we have will filter 6,000 gallons.
Oh,
Lynn, if it's just you guys, Lynn, the two of you, that would last.
It'll last
forever.
7 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think that's a good investment. I think that we've been talking about it. And of course, when I watch the RVers, that are on the road a lot, if they can afford one, they have one
Mm-hmm.
for their waters. And I happened to see yours. I noticed yours, and I wanted to ask you about it because I think that would be a solid investment to have some good water.
Yeah, I think we ended up spending close to 500 for it for the size one you have. They had different sizes,
Yes,
and then
yes,
we
yes.
added the fluoride filter bundle, and then added the stand because we didn't, so we
Yes.
can get the glass under there. Because if you have
No.
if you have it like on a island or something, you can just have it hang over on the side,
You're right.
but we don't have that option, so we got to stand for it. So, but yeah, love it.
Okay.
You can't
Yeah.
taste they takes the chlorine out, because the rural water, you can smell the chlorine, and you can't when it comes out of the tap, and now it's fine.
Ah,
So we do have
that's
a
good to
well.
know.
Yeah, we do have a well, but it was the last time it was updated, it's electric, so we're thinking of having it changed to manual in case we need to have a manual well.
Yes,
But the
and
water out here is so terrible because of it tastes terrible, and that's why you would have the Berkey. But it's the farming around here around us causes a lot of soil degradation, and there's no. Yeah.
and another thing, if you use your own well water, that's on you, isn't it? I mean, if you do a windmill type thing like the old fashioned had the windmills, or if you have a hand pump, you can water your gardens, can't you?
Yeah.
At no, I mean off the meter.
Correct.
I know we're thinking also, we are going to get a rain barrel this year so that
Yep.
we can water because we're on city water. It's a small city. I mean,
Yeah.
small city, but our bill can be as high as $80 for two people.
Wow.
So
Well,
we're thinking.
you know why,
Pardon?
though? I think it's the sewer charges.
I think, yeah, but I mean, still, when we go to wash the car, we have to think about it. And for even watering my flowers, now I'll have flowers out. We're thinking of the rain barrel because then we've got free water to water my plants.
There you go.
Mhm.
So that's
And-
something we're going to cut into the gutters, I think, this year.
That's it. Speaking of flowers, marigolds would be a great thing to plant around your lettuces and
Okay.
or plant around at the base if you do like square foot gardening of tomato plants. I don't do that because I have garden fabric, and because I do not want to be weeding, and because I have a connective tissue disease and have chronic pain. I don't want to be weeding. But anyways, marigolds
Mhm.
deter pests. They're huge pest deterrents. Marigolds
Yeah.
get rid of pests, so that's good
Yeah.
to put her.
I think
Grows better.
the girly grows those with her garden, doesn't she,
Yes.
Lynn? I think so.
I
Flowers.
think the girlies here.
Yeah.
Do
So
you grow those, the girly? Yes.
I have a question. So I was when my painter was here yesterday. She told me, she said that when you get she's a gardener too apparently, and she said when you buy your vegetables in the grocery store, if they still have the roots on them, like I'm going to say radishes or green onions, where they have, that was grown in the United States. And if the roots are cut off, then those are not grown here. Is that true? Do you know? Is that true?
I don't know.
She
I'm not.
said that to come through the inspection, what is it? Is it the FDA or whoever inspects the fruits and vegetables?
U.S.
The
U.S.
U.S. Yeah, whatever. Like say on celery, they cut that off, or like on radishes, they cut that off
Mhm.
because it cuts down on. I think she said the pest, and it'll, the whatever it is will last longer. But I'd like to know if that's true. If anybody out there knows,
Well, if you do leave the roots on, it will last longer. It will last longer, but I'm not certain about it, if it's grown in the United States or
imported in
overseas or not. But
well,
it's really concerning to me about us importing all of our beef and getting rid of our beef here and have the synthetic beef.
Yeah,
Right. And our pork.
Coming out
Our
with some
pork.
really strange alternatives to meat.
Yeah.
And not for me, not for me. And
I'll
I do
become
not
a vegetarian. I'll become a vegetarian before
Yeah,
I
me
eat.
too, I guess. I don't want to eat.
Before I eat synthetic.
Yeah,
3D
and what
printed meat.
Burger King has the it's a vegetable,
No.
supposedly a vegetable hamburger. I mean, I'm not against any of that, but
No.
I don't know that that's what I want. I want real meat. And I don't understand why bacon is so expensive. A pound of bacon up here in the grocery store, just depending on the day, could run you $5 a pound or $7 a pound. Or you go to Walmart and it's like $3.47 for a pound. But you have to be careful because some of the packages are 12-ounce packages. So I always look for the 16-ounce. And so what is up? I mean, now pork chops are not necessarily expensive in the store.
I think they're shipping our pork. Aren't they not shipping our hogs to a foreign country, and then the foreign country is turning around and shipping them back?
How dumb is that?
Yeah, I know. We're shipping the whole hog there.
The whole hog.
And then then it comes back here, processed, and then we package it here. So it's packaged here. It's like,
so that's why right there.
Yeah, that is just so terrible. Terrible.
Well, that's some of the large names.
Yeah, huge thing with garlic. Be careful. Make sure you look and study the garlic. The garlic you get, it starts, what is the name? It starts with an F. The brand of garlic, I believe.
DeGurley, do you know? Okay.
What is it? Anyways, that's from China, not from here. And the way they like have chicken poop or fish poop, what they are doing with the garlic is completely disgusting, and how it's like raised and harvested.
Ooh.
It's not healthy.
Not good.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I know
that's why.
Yeah, I was going to say.
DeGurley said that's why her garlic seeds are so expensive. She raises her own garlic.
Yeah,
and she said that's why they're expensive.
I've never done that. This year is the first time I'm starting garlic from seed. I had never done that. I've just bought the the bulbs. I've just bought the bulbs. Right. I haven't bought. So I got seeds. I'm going to try growing them from seed and say a prayer. This year's I'm adding eggplant. I've never grown eggplant before. Eggplant takes forever to grow. So I got to start that here in the next week, because that's got to be inside forever before it can go outside. That you need like 180 days of growing season for eggplants, and we only have a 100-day window where they can be outside. So it's going to be a challenge, but we're going to try.
Exciting. It's going to be an exciting challenge.
So Shannon, you also dehydrate?
Yes.
And you can?
Yes.
And do you freeze? Probably freeze?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I froze peas. I blanched and froze peas last year. I blanched and froze beans. You can skip the blanching process with beans. I wouldn't with peas, but you can skip the blanching process with beans. It just won't. It's just about retaining the nutrient content and the color. Yeah. It's not so much about the flavor,
Is that true for corn also? Like, correct. I had some corn I bought in bulk, and some of it I blanched, some I didn't, and really I didn't see any difference.
No.
And and I do the seal meal, do that. And so
what does it do, Ann? What noise does it make?
It sucks the air out. That is the best invention. I am on my third one. I use it. I have one. I use it almost daily, because when when you open a package of anything, and I just walk over there and reseal it, and vegetable frozen stuff. Like we'll buy a big bag of frozen whatever, and we'll take out what we want, because it's just the two of us, and I reseal it hey, I'm in good shape, you know.
Yes,
But
we do that. Uh-huh.
yeah, and plus other stuff, just I mean documents that I don't want it to turn brown and stuff. But yeah,
Right.
seal that those things are excellent.
I got
Excellent.
Yes, they are.
I got some new attachments. I have them right over here if you want me to grab them for my mason jars. So I can
Oh,
seal.
yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I should do a video on that of dry
Yes.
canning with sealing for beans, because I did a video on dry canning rice. You can dry can rice in the oven and it'll be fine and there won't be any moisture left over. But dry canning beans in the oven, you have too much moisture and you can get, that's bad. So
Okay.
I want to be pressure or not vacuum sealing in some mason jars beans, because even you have to have so much land. We have for the land we have to produce that much. We have we tried some Great Northern beans last year and that went okay. They were good. And but to grow all of the beans and all that you would use, and then rice, you can't grow rice here. That's a
Right.
problem. We're gonna,
Right.
yeah. But
The girlie wanted to know, she's debating on getting a freeze dryer. Do you have one? She'd like to know.
no, I want one. I saw a
Okay.
video yesterday on Living Traditions Homestead. They were talking. They opened up a bunch of their freeze dried stuff after they used their freeze dryer. You can go over to Living Traditions Homestead. It was posted yesterday or the day before. I think yesterday. And
Living, what is it? I'll write it in the chat here.
Living Traditions Homestead, they have like 300, 400,000 subscribers. It's ridiculous. They have a lot. They're good. But they are very good. They've got great information. But they were doing a test of reconstituting their stuff that they freeze dried, multiple different things, and it turned out really good. Freeze dryers will range from $2,000 to $6,000. They're expensive. I would like one, but yeah, it's a good option, since it's a good other option if you can afford it, if you can't find canning lids. Because
I
can't
know
find canning lids. Speaking of
that was a big thing here lately, was the canning lids. I know people were in search of them.
there's my canning lids.
Now, was it Alaska Prepper that reused canning lid and he had success? Was it him? I think I saw a video. I'm pretty sure he did one here. I think it was Alaska Prepper. And
so that's what I'm doing. And
are you going to use you're reusing?
Yeah. So I've done it before and it works. But I kind of put these off to the side because of the canning lid shortage. I did want to talk about this. I did some research and found out that you really are okay. They say to only use them once, but if they're in good condition, like there is no rust and you don't damage it when you're opening it, and you have a specific pry lid jar opener, or use your fingernails to open it, and then there's no damage to it. Like if you use a butter knife or one of the things that will poke into it and and take this up, then it's no good. But if you my husband's been using his fingernails because I can't open the pressure can ones because they're sealed harder with my fingernails. So he's been opening with his fingernails so we could save our lids. And to test them, you make sure they still pop. If they still pop, like I had one over here that didn't, I set it aside to show that it doesn't pop as good.
Right.
Or it will pop in, but it won't unpop by itself. So that's one thing. Make sure it still pops, and then look at and make sure it still has a good amount of the seal, rubber, and there's no damage and not a lot of rust here. And a trick to get the seal to puff back up is to boil your lids for half an hour before you use them. Instead you have to sanitize them anyways. Boil them for half hour, and it'll repuff that rubber up some to help establish that seal.
Okay.
So,
DeGurley says don't use them for pressure canning. Have you done them with pressure canning, or just the resealing ones, the used ones?
Oh, the used ones? No, I haven't. I've just used them for salsa. So,
for water bath.
Yeah, and that's water bath. So all acidic foods, tomatoes, fruits, jams, tomato, because tomato is considered a fruit, not a vegetable. Tomato
Right.
sauce, salsa, all that stuff's going to be water bath canned.
bath.
If you pressure can acidic foods, you will cause degradation you will damage it, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
So you want to be careful with what you're going to use those for. I mean,
Mhm.
I say give it a try if you can.
Well, it's not. So I'm going to say disclaimer. It's not
Yes.
recommended by the manufacturer.
Correct. Not
However,
recommended.
in
That's
the
right.
times we are living in, I am choosing to take that risk for my and double check. I check my lid, my jars so often. Once a week, I go and check and make sure they're all sealed and everything. Because you don't store them that's another thing. You don't store your stuff with
With the
rings
lid
on them.
With the
Right.
The rings on them.
Right.
So my rings are over there. If you can, no, you can't see. And then window. Anyways, so I'm going to take that risk because that's what we have to do because you can't find them. And I keep hearing they're not going to come back. And now we got almost 96 more jars. They had jars on the shelf at one of the places we go to, but they didn't have lids.
Yes.
And the lids come with the jars. So my husband's like, well, we'll use the jars eventually, so.
Yes.
And I inherited all of my grandma and Grand Forks, all of her jars. So, yay!
And then you also dehydrate. You have a dehydrator.
Yes.
I have one too, and I have used it for strawberries. And okay, so how do you store your dehydrated foods? What's the best way you think?
I put them in a mason jar after things are dehydrated and just put it on the shelf. Now,
just put them on okay. Now, so say I do that. It takes a lot of strawberries to get a quart. But okay, so if you do that and then I want to eat them, like I want to put them in my cereal or whatever, how long do they last? Do you know?
Strawberries per se, I'm not certain, but then if you have like the mason jar attachment to vacuum seal them.
Oh yeah, I guess you could just seal it back up, huh?
Yeah, and then it would last probably a year or more. I would think more. It's dried. I made homemade sun-dried tomatoes and they're still good from last year. And I haven't vacuum sealed them and they're still good from last year. So it depends on what you're putting in there. Like herbs would last forever. I have some basil that in a jar, that I dried. This year I'm up in my game on herbs. I'm going crazy on herbs. So,
so you guys are just really back to basics and you must have a very busy summer.
Yeah.
When you have such a short growing season and then I have to can and get it all processed. Yeah, it's a very busy.
So it's a year-round thing for you then, isn't it? Because I got a little bug flying around here. Year-round, you're busy. You're constantly.
This year I didn't get all my carrots processed, so I stored them in the fridge forever, and then we just ate on them, and they were good in the fridge for like 6 months. Carrots stayed really a long time in the fridge. When you don't have a root cellar, so our fridge was a little tight there for a while because I had a lot of carrots in the fridge. I didn't get them pressure canned, so I ended up just having them for fresh eating and stuff. I don't know. I did my seed organization video. I have to buy another box because I bought more seeds and I don't have room.
Wow.
So I bought more seeds because I'm like, they were there and I expected to not see any. And so I was like, oh, I'll grab this and grab that because I think it's going to come to a point where for bartering or seed swaps, you're going to want to seed swap. I have this seed. You want to trade? Yeah.
Yes, there are groups that do that, seed swapping.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yes.
I mean, it's great. You help each other out. That's what it's all about. We want to help each other and do what we can, right?
Yep.
That's right.
You are correct.
Yeah, DeGurley says I have as well, Shannon. I use a 4x6 photo box. and she goes to seed swaps. I think, did you find that on Facebook maybe?
I found it on YouTube. There was the Elliott Homestead that did it. And I was like, oh my God. And then I went to the store literally 2 days after I watched that video, and Michael's in town had them on sale. I was like, oh.
Wow.
Yes. So
That's what we call, that's a God thing.
that's a God thing.
Yes.
There's been a lot of God. There's been a lot of God things lately, and that.
Oh, I tell you what, he's so good. Anymore, sometimes you don't even have to express it, and it's just something that's been on your heart, and there it is. It's like, oh, he hears us, doesn't he?
Yes, he does,
and he cares about us tenderly.
Another. Speaking of the God thing, tonight I have my book club at church, and we're reading this right now.
So what's the difference?
Oh, okay. Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
So
yes, what's the difference between each of those religions
compared to Christianity? Yes. Very interesting, and the dialogue and conversation, very interesting. And tonight's chapter, I already read it. Tonight's chapter, we're talking about Islam.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot in that book. A lot we have to
need to know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parallels, but there's a reason. There's a reason. Yeah. There's a lot of parallels, but a lot of and you know, my husband has this little book. I don't know what religion. He just gave it to me the other day to read it. He had came across it. He had it from a decade ago, and he was cleaning out stuff. He's like, "Oh, this is a good one you should look at." And it's called The Art of Peace. So I think it's like Eastern stuff. It's called The Art of Peace. And I was like, well, that's not really our, religion. He's like, but it's not about religion. This is a philosophy. And I think a lot of the philosophy in that parallels the gospel of Jesus. There's parallels with the philosophy and the way you're going to live your life, treat people well, follow rules and good works and stuff like that.
Well, that's right. We talk about the golden rule. So that's
pretty
right.
basic.
People,
just, treat others as you want to be treated. Very, very basic. Yeah. That's what we're about here at this channel. We want to just, we hope
we love each person here.
Yes. That's we love our community of people. We're in a great community of people.
We can be diverse, but we still walk in love with one another. Right. Not everybody's going to agree with everybody, but it's that love walk that we have to be committed to it.
Well, like Jesus said, he added the most important of all commandments, which is love.
Yes.
We need that. That's what's missing right now in the world, and we need to rise above and
all the chatter and just you got to tune that stuff out and just just like you said, walk in love with everybody. Everybody's got a little different take, but hey, that's okay. Diversity is okay.
It's going to come out in the end anyways.
Yes, so it's going to come out.
It's about how I react. It's about how I'm going to stand before the Lord, and you're not going to stand for me. So that's right. I got to keep myself, don't we?
God is the judge, jury, and executioner. He makes that judgment. We shouldn't be like Matthew 7, don't pass judgment on others. So there's Matthew 7:6, don't cast. I'm to that point where I just am like, I'm not going to cast the pearls before.
It's better to keep this right. You know what?
Put the trust in the Lord. What was that?
Yeah. You can get yourself in a lot.
She's telling me to be quiet.
Yeah. In Joel, it's a little member, but it can really cause a lot of trouble.
Your words matter. And
they do.
So your words matter. It's in the Bible. Your words matter. Just like science backed. Since I'm the nerd. I'm the nerdy nurse here. We are water. Have you heard of Dr. Emoto and water consciousness?
No.
Oh, you're gonna love this. Okay. Dr. Emoto, he's a Japanese scientist, and he discovered he would hit frequencies and talk a certain way to water, and under the microscope, what he would see was pretty amazing. So water,
maybe I have heard of that. I didn't know his name.
Dr. Emoto, yeah.
But
so
the water
reacts.
The
water is alive. The water has memory. Marv talked about water having memory and stuff, and then there's the whole I think I should do a video on it where I put in one mason jar, 2 mason jars of rice, and write hate and love on one or the other, and then every day for 2 weeks you say I love you, and say sweet nothings, sensual sweet nothings to the one that says love, and then the hate one, say nasty things to that one, and put them in 2 separate closets, and have it be water in there with the rice, and then after 2 weeks you look, and in the studies, the water that had love on it and you talk great to, it was still white, and the water that had hate on it turned brown. So that just goes to show our words matter, and
they do, especially, and when you're raising children, don't ever say, call your kids bad names, or you know what I'm saying? You be out in the grocery store or Walmart or in the mall or somewhere, and you see a mom yank her kid and calling you little so-and-so. Oh, please don't ever do that, because that gets down inside of them. I always tell my girls, my children, how beautiful they are, how God loves you, and how much I love you. And you always talk good to your children and everybody else around you, but when you're raising kids, right, Lynn? You pray over your kids, and you speak good, living, live words, right?
Yeah. Because you speak the word of God over them. That's right.
So under the microscope, it showed water would look like mud and look icky if you were saying nasty things to it. If we're 73% water, and that frequency, that's why you have like the 432 hertz frequency of music, which is the healing frequency for the human body and can cause DNA repair. And that, just look up 432 hertz music.
Okay.
And listen to that and see how you feel versus listening to 450 hertz music. There's a difference.
I've heard of this.
This is all planned. The music industry is using frequencies that bring our consciousness down and our connection to God, and make us sick. Right. So if my husband and I ever are getting into a fight, we've been trying to, once in a, that happens once in a while.
Sure.
But now the past few years since I learned about Dr. Emoto and water consciousness, and my husband and I looked into all this and everything, I'll be like, okay, stop turning me to mud. Stop turning me to mud. Stop turning me to mud. And then we nip it in the butt and be like, we're going to get sick here. We're going to cause it. That's where the stress comes from. If you have stress decreases your immune system, and if you're yelling at each other.
Yes, I know. Well, I'll tell you, I know for myself with stress, last week when we had this water issue, and we couldn't use our bathrooms, for a night and everything. And I was prepared for that. I had my old camp potty, so we were in good shape, but
she's prepared.
I was prepared, and it was great. But was it Saturday or Sunday? I told you, Lynn, by the end of last week, I had to, Sunday, I guess, I did nothing. I was tired from the time I got up to the time I went to bed. And I know it was the stress of that week of, water issue, sewer outside issue, all these, homeowner just kind of stuff. I let it get to me. And even my husband, Dave, looked at me and he goes, you're just you're being really gloomy about all this. Can't you look on the bright side? And I had to, boy, did that ever, right. I got corrected by my husband, and it was like, but my body, I think that stress, but the next day I was just, I was back to myself again, so you do have to, everything affects you, what you're listening to, who you're talking to, your mouth.
The energy. Like people don't see people are like, oh, that's new age. I'm like, no.
It's pretty. It's humans. We're humans.
EKGs, EMGs, AEDs, EMGs, nerve conduction tests, neurosynapses is in our brain. They measure our brain waves in hertz. We are energy. We are frequency. So it's not new age. People, the anatomy and physiology of the human body knows no religion, but I choose to follow Yeshua. But there's something to be said for, and it's in the Bible, honor your temple, take care of your temple.
Yes.
Take care of your temple, your temple, your body is your temple.
That's right.
And our temple is under attack from the air, from the food we eat, the water we drink. Like we were talking about the mercury and the fluoride. And Jesus said, my people will be destroyed for their lack of knowledge, right? People are not aware. People don't know how deep things are, and or don't want to pay attention, or choose to. Ignorance is bliss. Choose to not know, right?
Well, it's easy just to go through every day, like through a drive-through, and pick up lunch or dinner, and do that several times a week, and not really think about not eating real good, healthy food, and I think people think eating well, like I don't have a garden. I live in town now. I'm not in the country anymore. But I still have choices. I can make good choices by buying organic vegetables, and we can make good choices, can't we?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have my seed starting shelf over here. Maybe you can see it over there.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh yes.
Wow.
And all my lights and everything. And then I put everything over into the laundry room. That's my way to do it without a greenhouse. So I grow lettuce with the lights. Yeah, the cost of electricity goes up, but then I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not eating pesticides, right?
Right.
Right.
I don't healthy choices.
Yeah, it's all we have to. And some people don't even know. And I think the hugest thing is the technology. We have to be smart.
Sure.
Have you guys ever heard of electrosensitivity?
I'm not sure.
I've heard of it, but
So there is tons of peer-reviewed studies showing RF, EMF exposure destructures the water molecule. This goes back to Dr. Water emodal consciousness, right? We're 73% water, and then we're being bombarded by frequencies that destructure the water molecule. Then we're using words and that cause harm and turn you to mud. And people wonder why we're sick. And now we're using frequencies that interfere with the oxygen spectrum.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about. I do. I had to write cameraman Tony, my husband. I had to write him and tell him, I think that's a good phrase that we're going to start using, Shannon. You're turning me to mud.
Turning me to mud. Stop. So
I think he'll appreciate that. Or he could tell me, you know, you're giving me some life in that water.
Yep.
Yep. I could do.
Well, you're talking life, and there's John 4:14. The living water spring up.
Mm-hmm.
Spring up, oh well, within my soul. That's a song. Spring up, oh well, and make me whole. Yep. Spring up,
oh well, and give to me. Yeah.
Yes.
Physiologically now, that would be your cerebral spinal fluid.
It could be.
That's the living water. It's called the sacred secretion, the Christ within, the living water within us, because God is within us, right?
Yeah. So man, we could go down a bunch of different rabbit holes today. There's so many.
I know.
But let's round it back in here. Let's lasso in. And I do want to ask you about your chickens, because I have grand baby chickens.
You have grand chicks.
I have grand chickens, and she's wanting more chickens. And that's another good source of I don't know if it's organic, but is the right term. Protein. You're getting your good fresh eggs, and then you're having your chickens that you're going to eat. But now I know that my grand chickens, they are spoiled. They're more like pets that give
Yes.
eggs.
Yes, our egg layers are our egg layers are very spoiled. Not so spoiled that we never artificially heated the coop. We just we have a run attached to the chicken coop, and we wrapped it in 6 mil plastic. So
Yes.
it creates like a greenhouse effect. It creates a greenhouse effect to keep them warm. So they are kind of spoiled, but not totally. The only thing spoiled is they got a heated water dish, so I don't have to go. Yeah, but
that's good. Yeah.
We do spoil them in the fact that every so often we put food grade diatomaceous earth in their feed to help gets rid of the worms. So by the way, we have worms in us naturally. And we can detox by putting a quarter to a half teaspoon of diatomaceous earth. We call it diatomaceous toots around our house because it makes you toot. Diatomaceous toots around here, but put that mix in a quarter of a teaspoon to start, up to a half teaspoon every day, every other day, in juice or water or whatever. It doesn't have any taste; it just has a texture. And that helps detox from heavy metals, detox from contaminants, and gets your gut health back on track. Your immune your gut is 80% of your immune system.
Yes.
So I think that's true.
So if you take care of your gut health, you take care of your health and overall your immune system. And there's so many, you're not absorbing, there's a whole leaky gut thing, and you're not absorbing this or absorbing too much of that, and you have breakouts and you're allergic to this one day and this and not another day. And that's the whole thing of, it's important to, and I'm not, we're not perfect around here, but we try to eat as healthy as possible, but we living in zone 3, things aren't perfect. And there's times when we're in town, well, once in a blue moon, we were at the doctor twice with my daughter yesterday because she's been struggling. Hence why we were gone for a month. Like you were talking about how you were stressed with your the water damage. And we didn't do any filming or do anything for a month because my daughter was like going through a lupus flare and she was just sick, and that just brought me down. And I was just like, I don't want to. I just have to focus on the day-to-day stuff. And then I have a son with autism, and so it's just busy.
Your cup is full. You're a busy lady. You're a busy lady. But boy, you've given us a lot of good information, a lot of things
absolutely
to about, a lot of things that we can go research about now, because there's a few things I'm definitely going to check in.
I've written down notes. Yes.
Yeah. And so I do want, let's ask our people, our audience, our viewers today. You want to, everybody, if you have a final question for Shannon, put it in the chat right now. And Shannon, is there anything else, hon, that is on your heart to say? We're so happy that you joined us today. First of all, will you come back?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Yay.
I want to see your garden when it's up and going, and you could be out in the garden. Take your phone with you, and you could show us your garden.
Yes. I could have done that yet. Well, it was really windy yesterday. We had a wind advisory, but it was 71 yesterday, but now it's 30. It's cold outside now.
Well, say in maybe June or July, July or August, when your stuff is up and going.
Oh yeah. It'll be.
We want to have you come back. DeGurley said she loved your bread making video.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Barefoot Lass said she's taking notes.
Well, I want to give a shout out to, I believe Sarah has joined us.
Yes,
Sarah normally.
Yes.
She's going to go back and watch the program. Yes.
Oh, Sarah, I know. I think it's Ruby Doo. Her channel's Ruby Doo. I think she's more Frugal Family, and we found out we don't live far from each other. So hi.
Sarah, normally you have a channel.
It's Ruby Doo, I believe.
Put it, Shannon or Sarah. Put your channel down there in the chat so we can all go to it and subscribe.
Yeah, she's got chickens and everything too. And all of our egg layers, we purposely got dual purpose. So they can be dual purpose egg layers and meat birds. But we specifically ordered the Cornish cross this year. So it'll be the first time we got our plucker. So it's our first time processing chickens. So that'll be an experience we'll have to document.
Yeah, it will be. Yes.
Our parents did that one year, and I will never, as long as I live, forget it. I was probably, how old do you think we were then, Lynn? Remember when Mom and Dad?
I was 17.
Chickens.
I was 17 probably.
Okay, so I was about 12.
And our brother Morris was 7.
I mean, and Mom and Dad, we lived out in the country, and it was country. It was way out.
Yeah, it was, but we didn't do well with the chickens. Let's just say that today.
There's a chicken story.
Yeah, but
can I tell the chicken story?
Tell the chicken story.
Okay, so Mom and Dad had how many chickens? 50?
Oh, we had
35?
50 We had 50 chickens.
And
50.
Yeah,
and they said we're going uptown. Lynn, you're in charge. You're in charge.
How old were they, Lynn?
Not like that.
A little bit bigger.
Not like that.
Not like that. Maybe a couple months old, but they were old enough to.
They were bigger than that.
They were big enough to go out. Now they could be in the chicken coop.
They were in the run, and but our parents, our dad said, Lynn, if it comes up a storm, which we lived in Michigan, and it could come up a storm, put the chickens in the house, the coop. Well, it got as black as could be. A storm came up. I mean, all I could think of was getting my siblings into the basement, and I didn't.
You and Morris, because I know, or you were by yourself.
No, you guys were there, and Morris was there. Well, Morris was there. Well, anyway, I didn't think about them chickens. I got everybody in the basement. Who was there? Of course, this is only over 50 years ago. It's a memory kind of, But anyway, it hailed, and it hailed so deep that there were pockets of hail like a foot high. Well, the first thing they said out of our dad's mouth was, "Did you put the chickens in?" No.
So it beat some of them absolutely to death. It was huge.
What happened was they ran out. He was pretty upset. He talked about that the rest of his life, but he didn't hold it against me. He's just he'd laugh about it. So what happened was we brought about 30 chickens into the house, and they opened up the oven, and they put the chickens around the oven to keep the heat. We turned the heater on and put the chickens everywhere and warm. And so they saved about 30 of them. And it beat the feathers off of them. And so finally they were stunted. It stunted these poor chickens. So he finally he was a police officer. So he gave them away to a friend of his, another police officer. And they never grew. And they were no good for eating. They were just nothing.
They grew crooked, and some of them walked crooked, sideways.
I thought for sure that they would go up the ramp. I mean, I thought they'd go up the ramp.
Well, egg layers do if they're trained. Mine go up if we have rain and have a storm. They go up in the coop or up underneath the coop. They know to get out of the way. But the meat birds are really stupid.
Well, that's what they were. They were meat birds. We bought our parents bought them for meat. Well, they didn't harvest a single chick.
Well, now
out of that whole group.
They did do some chicken harvesting.
No, we went to a chicken place where they raise chickens, and you could buy a whole dead chicken for $1. Well, they were so old and so tough. They were so tough that she cut them up, and she even put them in the pressure cooker. But it was like they were rubber, and you'd go boing, boing with the knife. So we had to throw those chickens away too. So we had racehorses. My uncle had racehorses, but we thought we could be chicken farmers, I guess.
Oh, Mom! Our parents were like Ricky and Lucy. It was hilarious. Mom and Dad, my mom was more like Lucy and Ethel. They would get into such things that, hilarious.
Well, they gave us a great childhood.
Wonderful. But anyhow, raising chickens, that's part of it too. You just kind of do a little bit of everything. I mean, it's wonderful, Shannon. It's wonderful.
My uncle in Grand Forks, he came out and helped us process 2 of our roosters last year from the egg layers that we got that ended up being roosters. We didn't need any extra roosters, and so we ate roosters. Roosters are more tough. But they weren't rubber. But
these poor things were rubber.
And it's better if you eat them right when they're reaching maturity. Like we have Pepper and Midnight are our 2 roosters right now. And Midnight, after the winter, has kind of an attitude problem. So Midnight may have to become dinner, but he's older now, so we may not.
Right, because he may be tough. Right.
You don't have any guilt. You don't have any guilt about you've named them.
Well, yeah, I know. I was so excited. We had our first rooster was King Chick, and Logan named him. So he went to be with Uncle Jimmy and go to a different farm. But he ended up being Uncle Jimmy and Grandma's dinner. And Logan ended up finding out about it, but he was okay with it. He came to terms with it that King Chick. So King Chick was a Rhode Island Red, and that breed, the roosters are real mean. And so we got some different breeds that would be nicer. And our Pepper is a Lavender Orpington, and he's really docile and really nice. Midnight is a Black Australorp, and his was really nice, and we could hold him last year and everything. But this winter, we weren't handling him enough, I guess. Chicken soup. Yep, chicken soup is right. Anyways, yes, cook them slow in the crock pot. That's what the plan probably is.
She tried everything. She tried everything.
Tried it all.
Okay, the girly.
Yeah. Do you subscribe to Justin Rhodes?
Yes, I do. Yes. Okay. Speaking of that, they put out a video that I need to put out. I need to put out like a video for the Needy Homesteader. Did you hear about them? That channel kind of went viral. Okay, when you're in the homesteading community.
Sure. What is it? The Needy Homesteader?
The Needy Homesteader, like KNEADY. The Needy Homesteader. It's like needy, like need bread.
Okay.
She put up, so I've been following her for a little over a year. She has great bread videos and stuff. I actually haven't I've looked at like 30 seconds to a couple minutes of her bread videos, but I've looked at some of her canning jelly stuff because I've never done jelly on my own. So I've watched some of her jelly stuff, but I've been following her for a little over a year, and she's awesome, great. And we have similarities where she, is doing things naturally. She suffers with fibromyalgia like I do, and autoimmune and everything. And she put out a video, and Justin Rhodes put out a video to share their story. On the 13th of February, they decided to go out for an early, her husband, and their 2 younger kids. So they each have older kids from previous marriages. So their younger kids, which are 7 and 8. So Heather is her name, and Matt was her husband. So on the 13th, they went out to go to an early Valentine's get together, dinner, and a drunk driver jumped the median and hit him head on, and her husband was killed instantly, and he was the main sole provider of the family. And she sustained, and the kids sustained severe injuries. Like the injuries, she has her leg was both ankles broken, feet broken. Her one leg was completely crushed and has rods in her leg. She had 5 or 6 punctured lungs, had a collapsed lung. So she had a chest tube. Both her hands, it's the most recent video. They have a GoFundMe set up.
Good. Good.
So that's why I wanted to say this, because the medical bills, she's in like a long-term care facility getting rehab and therapy. And because she's there for transitional care to get better, because of CV, her kids can't come in, and she hasn't been able to see her kids after waking up she can see through a window. So her kid, her one boy broke both arms. One arm was punctured out. I mean, and then the daughter broke her arm clavicle and had a huge gash down the middle of her. We're talking like 6 and 8 or something. I mean, we're talking little, young, anyway. Yeah. And she has both her arms broken. She also had a brain bleed, and so they didn't think she was going to make it. So she had sustained the most injuries, and they couldn't do the drill her head, the holes in her head to release the pressure on her brain because it was on. So she's always positive, and they're godly people, and she's just so, so if you have the means, go to the Needy Homesteader channel, and in that video, it's the video saying this is the hardest video I will ever make, and it's the thumbnail is for her and her husband, and so her older son, that's 21, 22, is in charge of the GoFundMe, talked her into doing it because her husband being the soul. Yeah, people do not drink and drive with Uber, Lyft, and
I know.
Not drink and drive.
Right.
Not drink and drive. Like it's not. That is huge. More and more people are drinking because of stress and the world.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough time. Yes, it's a tough time. Yes, so we'll keep them in our prayers, won't we, Lynn?
Yes, lift them up. That's right. We will. Yes. Absolutely.
Lots of praying.
Well, before we let you go, Shannon, we want to share with our community what's going to happen in this week. Let's see. Well, we actually have 2 things happening. We're going to go live again on Friday.
Oh, yes.
We're going to be live Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going to show you who with. Hold on, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
It's a special announcement from the Ann Lynn Show. Yes, a special announcement. Coming Friday, Alaska Prepper. Yes, Friday. Alaska Prepper? Yes, you heard it right, folks. Coming this Friday, March the 12th. We welcome Alaska Prepper to the Ann Lynn Show. This Friday, March the 12th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars right now.
Yeah, we are so honored that we're going to have Alaska Prepper. And he was available Friday, and so we'll have him on the show. So everybody get your questions ready.
That's one guy I follow. That's one I follow.
Yes, we all do. He's a wonderful man up in Alaska. So I know we're going to have a lot of questions for him. So everybody.
That's right. And on the 17th of March.
Oh, here we go. I got to show you.
It's huh?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, are you going to show that?
Yeah.
On the next all-new live Ann Lynn Show, we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Now listen up, y'all. Email us a picture of yourself dressed up in your St. Patrick's wear, or if you don't want to do it, send us a picture of your dog or cat or whatever pet you have. But be here Wednesday, March the 17th at 10 a.m. Eastern for an all-new live Ann Lynn Show.
So I need you guys to email us your pictures. I've only got a few that have come in. Shannon, do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day just for fun?
Sometimes in the past. St. Patrick's Day was my daughter's due date, actually, but she came early. She was supposed to be born on, she came on the 1st. So since she was still born in March, Caitlin is spelt the Irish spelling.
Well, there you go. So we need you guys to send us your pictures of however just for fun. We do this just for fun. We have a little Irish.
That's right. There's no, yeah. And the guest
fun.
that day, should we tell them who the guest is that day?
That's
the
us.
The guest is you and I. They're going to have us.
Yeah, next week, next Wednesday. And actually, we may start maybe a little half hour or so earlier because I have to run to an appointment. So we may start a little earlier than 10. You'll just have to wait and watch for the notification. But please be here with us on Friday. Moderators, if you're able to be here, be wonderful. We need our moderators on Friday at 2 p.m. for Alaska Prepper. And then, of course, we'll see you guys for our normal show on Wednesday, the 17th. And we're going to just have fun with St. Patrick's Day. So send us your pictures. I need more pictures. Come on,
and
you guys.
we are going to have another special live on the 18th. I won't tell
you what, next week we're busy too. 2 live streams next week.
2 live streams. We have a special guest on the 18th, which you'll probably see Friday. You'll probably roll it out Friday who it is.
Well, we could give everybody that's here right now a little.
Let's give them a heads up. You announce our guest.
Okay, our guest on. I've got my book.
18th. The 18th.
Thank you. I have to get my book. We are just so fortunate to have a full calendar of guests that are just wonderful. Let's see. March the 17th is just us. The next day, Thursday, March the 18th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, we are going to have Mr. Bob Wells of Cheap RV Living. And you guys need to go find him on YouTube and subscribe to him. He's a very large channel. We are very fortunate. I had to really work that one to secure an interview with him.
Well,
great.
That's right, because there's a movie out right now on Hulu and in the show.
Yeah. So, and that is the same.
It's nomad living. It's nomadic living. Nomadic living.
So I mean, and then we're going to have RE55. He's going to be.
Yay!
Oh, I can't wait for that. Florida Patriot 71 is going to come. And then we have made a new friend. Her name is Elaine. And what's her last name? Robinson?
I don't.
Is it Elaine
no,
Robinson?
I won't say.
Okay. And then we have Crazy Chicken Mama's going to be on. And we'll get into that.
Yeah,
later.
the girl. Crazy Chicken Mom.
Robbie Deuce says Cheap RV. He knows him. Cheap RV.
Good. I'm glad you know Bob. Good.
Yeah. So be here the 18th, right, Lynn? The 18th.
18th for Bob.
And
because he was just in a movie, you had to really go through a publicist and do a whole lot of things. We can't show his image. So we're talking him up.
We got it. Yeah, make sure everybody shows up.
Cheap RV living.
I wrote it down.
All right.
Nomadic living. Well, Shannon, this has been a wonderful, very informative show today. You've taught us so much, and I appreciate you, and thank you so much for
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Shannon.
We definitely want to have you back for sure. To when your garden gets going, we want to have you back so you can show us all your goodies in the garden. Okay.
Yep, and we are still editing the hamburger bun video that you saw the thumbnail for.
Yes,
I'll have that hamburger bun video up. We're in the process of finish. I made the mistake to make both the bread the French bread and the hamburger buns at the same time, and then rise and alternate in the kitchen with everything. And so editing the final product was a challenge since I'm not good at the.
I want my husband to come here when he gets done eating his lunch. Before we go real quick, I want to give a shout out to his YouTube. Come here, honey. And we're going to give a shout out to your YouTube channel before you go. Sorry, people, but I have to do this. This is an amazing fact that my husband has started his own YouTube channel. There's he's home for lunch, and it is called. Now the fellows might like this, and some women. It's called Dave's Gaming Cave. And I'm not exactly sure how to explain what you do.
It's playthroughs for board games. So most of them, or all of them right now, are solitaire games. So games you can play by yourself. And so I do playthroughs of games that I have. Claudia, or some people will tell you that they're pretty complex. And so it helped me. I would watch other people's channels and see how to play, understand a rule that I wasn't quite getting or something like that. So I'm doing the same thing now with some of the games. So
yeah. So anyhow, shout out to, I had to just give a shout out to my hubby.
That's right.
My wonderful sweetie pie, my sweetie pie. So anyhow, we love you all here at the Ann Lynn channel. We are just a big family, aren't we? Of love.
Yes.
And we thank everyone for being here today. Thank you to our moderators. Thank you especially to Shannon of Homesteading in the Heartland.
Thank you, Shannon.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, and
it's wonderful.
I'm gonna be contacting you about probably July, August. Make sure we get you back, and that way you can show us your garden and your chickens and everything you got going out there in the homestead out in North Dakota.
Yeah,
and maybe pigs and goats apparently too. That's been talked about too lately. The husband is like, oh, he raised pigs. My husband grew up on the farm, combining and raising hogs. So he's got himself a pig book now and wants to get some pigs. So
now make sure everybody you have subscribed to Shannon's channel, Homesteading in the Heartland. Go right now and do it if you haven't done it. We're trying to get her up to 1,000 people so that she can go live on her cell phone. You have to have 1,000 subs. So
no Wi-Fi here. So we got rid of our Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi here. So doing a hotspot is hard. So being able to go live on the device is helpful. So
that's what we need her to do. So we need her to do
my prayer shorts every morning or whatever when I go out with the chickens in the morning live.
Yes, it's wonderful, Shannon. I have watched them, haven't you? Her prayer shorts, Lynn.
Oh yes,
they're wonderful. So
yes, I want to give a shout out. We just had Emily start. Emily S just joined us. So Emily, I just want to say we just appreciate each person. Mwah.
So Shannon, honey, we're gonna let you go.
Okay. Bye, Shannon. Thank you so much.
With you, okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Lynn, what another wonderful show we had today.
That's what everyone is saying. Great show. Oh, and those that have, great show.
And we're so happy that you all could join us today. I do want to say again, shout out to Shannon. Thank you, hun, for being with us today. And thank you to each of our moderators. We have Barefoot Class, Helen. I know Snap was in here earlier. And who else is we've got other
DeGurley. DeGurley is one of our
absolutely DeGurley. Want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. And if you're watching it on the replay, I sincerely thank you, don't you, Lynn?
I sure do. I sure do.
Sincerely thank you. And
we'll
be back Friday, right
Friday.
Right
That's right.
Friday with
at what time? What time?
2 p.m. Eastern.
2 p.m. Eastern. That's
like
right. Because he's all the way up in Alaska. That's right.
He's like 10 o'clock in the morning there. So we're really honored. We are honored to have each and every
person. And we're honored to have you join us each time that we go live or put a video out.
So we're going to say goodbye, Lynn. Okay. And how do we say goodbye? How do we say
granny kisses? Granny kisses. Oh, I'm limbering them up. Oh, okay.
Clink out.
Okay, clink out. You ready?
Yeah, ready? Whoop.
Puke, 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 puke.
And you ready to throw them granny kisses?
I'm limbering up my fingers. Okay.
All right. One, two. Granny kisses. Thank you for being here today, everybody. We do love you.
Thank you. Bye.
And remember, God loves you.
Yes,
Right?
he
That's
really does.
He
That's
really
right.
does. Goodbye, everybody.